time has come again. The champion must end. It can only be one of us. Victorious. So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut along and on. Bring it to me. Defend your
Yeah! How do you get we can't get rid of that theme song. You mentioned it last time. You can't do it. I would think we'd sooner call the show Defend Your Movie again before get rid of that fucking theme song. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hello there, Dimwit Nation. How are you? You are listening to the DYM podcast. I am one of your hosts. You know me as Dutch. This is only where you know me as Dutch. Normally, I'm Sean Donnelly, but on this world, in the DYM universe, I am Dutch, and you are listening to the DYM podcast, and I'm joined here by my very fabulous, very lit up. Okay, we got a new name this week. Hot Sauce Fiori. You know him as the Cool Breeze. Sometimes he comes in as the Cool Breeze, and sometimes he's fiery. He comes in as Hot Sauce Fiori.
That's right, Fiery Fiori.
How you doing there?
I like to come up with a new one every week when they sign us the sign-on screen here. You get to put in your broadcast name. And I just like to change it up so it gives you a little chuckle.
I gotta be honest. I like Hot Sauce Fiori. I like it a lot.
Hot sauce, baby.
I'm into it.
Maybe it's because I made some soup for lunch and I put some nice new hot sauce I bought in it. Maybe it was on my brain.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. What else? You don't really need an excuse for hot sauce to be on your brain. It's like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Just a snowy, cold, felt like a soup kind of day, Shawnee. Big
Did you
snow
put
in our home borough.
Frank's Red Hot? Was that in the soup?
No, I don't even know the name of it. I like to buy different ones when I go to the grocery store, just for variety's sake. And this one, God, I don't know the name, but got a little bite to it, baby. Woo! Even for Hot Sauce Fiori.
I went to like Trader Joe's. I think it might have been the first time I've been to a Trader Joe's. I went this weekend.
I don't know if I've ever been to one.
They're great. They're awesome. Like it's a cool setup. Like there's tons of room and
it's a scene, man.
Oh, it's a scene, man. And I was there. And speaking of soup, I was buying soup for a friend of mine, and that sounded very weird, but I was.
Yeah, it did.
And, yeah. But they wanted she was like, oh, they have hot soups ready for for you,
go.
like to go. And I was like, all right, cool. I'll grab you one of those. And she was like, oh, can you get me the New England clam chowder? That's what she wanted. And
Classic.
so I was like, sure, no problem. So then I went and I saw somebody work there, and I was standing near, I guess, some soups, like some regular soups, like some canned soups. And I go to the lady who worked there, I go, hey, where are the soups like I can just grab to go, like the hot ones, like, maybe your deli counter or something like that? And she goes, oh, well, these are all our soups right here. And she points to this one section that was not what I wanted. And I was like, oh, I thought you had hot to go soups. Anyway, I'm asking, I go, okay, cool. So I grab one of those and I go about my way, and I'm about to leave. And I asked the guy, do you guys have a deli counter? Because I wanted to get I thought you had hot soups or maybe cold cuts or something.
Sure.
And they don't have a deli counter, but the guy goes, oh, we have hot soups to go on this wall right here. And the lady was standing right near him, and she goes, oh, yeah, if you want hot soups, it's over there. I go, that's what I meant, lady. That's what I wanted. That's what I told you. So I went over and got the soup. That's the whole story. It's nothing crazy.
I think.
But I was kind of like, what did you think I meant? I only wanted the soup in a 5-foot radius around me in the store.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you mention the hot, fresh soup that I wanted, that I said I wanted, you fucking maniac?
I think the bigger story here is who you buying these soups for there, Pally. You're running soup errands? That sounds like boyfriend job.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it's. I don't know if I'm officially boyfriend yet. I have no idea. That hasn't been discussed. But
let me ask you this: are there any Tampax at your house?
No, there isn't. So I might.
Right.
That might not be the case right now.
Did you come back with the soup and you went, all right, this is it. This is the meal.
I give you a brand new soup, and you can't even afford to take me to a dinner. Yeah. So yeah, I've been.
Oh, all right. Hey, if you don't want to talk about it, that's okay. I get very superstitious in the beginning too. I don't like to jinx things and talk about a new relationship.
Yeah.
But
No.
if you're out there buying soup in a snowstorm, I think things are going pretty good. Hey, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, things are going good. And
I also had a date last week, a first date, mind you.
Oh, let's hear about that.
Also went nicely. Just casual drinks under the heat lamps in Brooklyn. And at one point,
the Heat Lamps in Brooklyn sounds like a band, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I really love the Heat Lamps in Brooklyn.
Right, they're going to be on tour with Mumford and Sons or whoever the hell.
Mumford and Sons.
Mumford and Sons.
I feel like you should know the name of that band since you look like one of the members. I feel like
I played bass from 82 to 88.
Wait, so how'd you meet this lady?
This is a Hingy, right off the old dating apps.
Yep.
Spoke for a while via text before. That's always nice too, to get to know each other via text message. If you're comfortable in that, I feel like now in 2021 dating scenes, if you're getting comfortable making jokes already on texts, it's going to take away a lot of the anxiety of just meeting somebody cold. You know what I mean? Rather than just I've gone back and forth on Hinge with girls and they've been like, all right, let's meet here on Friday night, blah, blah, blah. And you don't you say, all right, I'll talk to you then. That's not good for me. I like getting to know you, get my jokes and my rhythm down, you know?
Yeah, but I'll tell you real quick. I thought I've done that a couple times on the apps, and I always thought, oh, maybe that's a better idea because then it's almost like meeting in real life, and you don't know. It's almost like when you go see a movie and you know nothing about it, like like that.
Yeah, I like to go fresh.
I love this movie. Yeah, I like to go fresh. Yeah. So how did it go? It was a good time, huh?
Absolutely. Yeah. We hung out for like 4 hours under these heat lamps, and at one point,
that's a good sign.
Yeah, she's tall too. She's like 5'10", and we're both near these very hot heat lamps, and she's got like a barrette in her hair. And I look over, and I start seeing like black smoke come off. I'm like,
no,
hey, I think you're on fire.
No way.
And no, it was like the beginning of burning like it was the clip she had in her hair.
Oh my God.
Wasn't on fire, but you could sense that it was starting to burn. You know what I mean? So and if I didn't catch it, she might have, been torched.
That's crazy.
Yeah, which I've seen happen to girls in bars before. I've been in a bar in the fucking before times. Like 5 years ago, we were at some bar on the Lower East Side, and a girl with like a long ponytail just was like leaning against the wall, and there was candles throughout the bar, and she just like leaned back into one of them, and all of a sudden you go, you guys smell that kind of smell like burning hair thing? And then some girl's like, ah! And some guy like ran over to her and put it out. Like she was fine, but it's just her bottom of her ponytail caught on fire.
Oh my God.
I think this happens to girls more often than we think.
You basically saved this girl's life on the first date. You can say that. Hey, remember when I saved your life? I don't want
to call myself a hero, right?
That's awesome.
Well, we hung out for like 4 hours and had some drinks. And we've been talking all week, so we'll see. I think we're going to hang out again this weekend. So look, the tide is turning for the DYM boys.
The DYM boys, we're becoming adults here. We're adulting. Adulting as Dimwit Nation is going to be rocked with these.
We got to get Mushy Mike laid. We'll be a fucking trio to be reckoned with.
Out in Texas, you got to find a nice lady for him out in Texas.
Mush, do you have a girlfriend? I don't even know.
No.
I always thought it was weird that people, when they reviewed our podcast, one of them said the loneliest podcast out there.
Is that what they said?
No, I'm just.
I totally believe you.
Sound like they're alone.
Yeah. No. Things are going good on my side. Like I was going to mention this. What we did.
You're buying soup. Jesus Christ.
I'm buying soup. Yeah. What we did was we've hung out a few times so far, like a good amount of times. But what we did when we first met was we did FaceTime a few times before we met up.
Yeah.
And that was actually really good to do. Like I'm glad we did that. Like we would talk for like hours on FaceTime, and then when we met up, you felt way more familiar.
Very interesting. I've only done that once, and I think I'm too self-conscious. Like I'm always performing when I'm on the FaceTime Zooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather do it in person. You know?
You want to do it in person. Yeah. Well, that's great, though, that the date worked out and that she survived the harrowing ordeal of her hair turning on fire.
She was totally cool about it, too. She was like, oh, thanks for telling me. Yeah. Those things happen sometimes. Very calm and collected.
Yeah. What a cool cucumber. It's like,
absolutely.
Lady, your hair almost went on fire. What are you doing? She's like, just a Tuesday. Not a big deal.
These heat lamps were fucking fire, dude. I had to turn mine off the majority of the time we were there. And this was like 30 degrees out in New York City.
Which place did you guys go to?
We went to Frank's Wine Bar in Brooklyn. There's a free plug, Frank's. It was in like Carroll Gardens area. Lovely area.
Yeah, really nice.
And pretty pricey. But, you know, I was a gentleman and sprung for the whole ordeal. But it was nice. They had really a good outdoor setup, obviously, still. Even though we are getting inside dining back in New York City starting the day after Valentine's Day.
Oh, it's not Valentine's Day?
I don't think so.
No, they said Valentine's Day.
Oh, really? It's Sunday? Oh, well, that's nice for all the lovebirds out there. You can go contract coronavirus together.
That could be you and your tall friend. You guys
absolutely
part of the group. Yeah.
So, good little spot, hung out, and then we went our separate ways into the night. That was my Saturday.
And then you've been talking since then.
Oh yeah, we talk pretty often. She's a very not infrequent text messenger. Like there'll just be hours that go in between our texts, and I'm a pretty quick texter backer, and that's frustrating for a guy like me. But I know this is her pace now, so it's okay. You know, it's just like I'll get a text at 9:30 in the morning. I'll write her back whenever. I won't hear it till 11:30. You know what I mean? And that's fine. It's it's not like it's. I have to hear from everybody in 10-second intervals, but
yeah. Do you think she's playing text games, or that's just the way she is?
No, I think that's just the way she is. It doesn't seem.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, dude, you know what's crazy? I downloaded this. What happened there? You plantar fasciitis? Or?
My knee just cracked.
Oh, you're sitting down.
I just stretched my knee out, and it made a sound, and it just popped. Oh, that was so bad. Oh, I'm old. I'm an old bastard.
You're not even doing anything.
I can't believe it. That's how out of shape I
am. Are you in pain? Your face.
I was for a split second. That's why I came through my.
You don't sound well. I wish everybody could have seen your face. Oh,
it really hurt for a split second. Yeah.
I hope you're right over there, bud.
Oh, thank you, man. What were you saying?
You eating your veggies?
Yeah, I have been eating some veggies. Yeah,
it can't be all fucking
my fruits and my vitamins and my B12 and my acid,
acid.
My apple cider vinegar gummies that I take.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. I stopped taking the gummies. My doctor friend, he just goes, it's all placebo for you. It's just mental.
Is it really?
Yeah.
He said it's bullshit?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it wasn't. I thought it actually does some stuff.
I don't think the gummies are that healthy. Maybe other vitamins that are more centered on one thing, like
I take zinc, I take B12, I take vitamin D, I take a daily vitamin.
Jesus Christ, how long are you in the bathroom for in the morning?
I don't know. So what do you have? You're in there at 8, you're out there by like 1. That's like the 6th Seinfeld reference we have. So you're in the bathroom by 8, out of there by like 1? Yeah, pretty much. What did she say? She responds really good. She's like, yeah.
It's like 5 things.
I take a bunch of stuff, but I thought the apple cider vinegar could help. They say it's supposed to help, like, I don't know, with the metabolism or like your stomach and stuff like that, right? Like settle your stomach.
I don't take any of those things. I don't take anything. I just drink a lot of water, and I eat a plum.
That'll do it. 1 plum a day makes you go to the doctor. 1 plum a day, and the doctor needs you more. Wait. So what were you going to say before my knee cracked? You were saying something, and I forgot what it was. You
don't remember at all.
Yeah. I'm not healthy, but I'm getting healthier than I was because I'm getting older, and I'm eating less.
Yeah, you're forced to.
I'm making sure I eat enough. I'm making sure I eat enough, but I'm eating less. Like it's like that kind of thing. And I've been doing more vegetables, and I still eat crab. I have fruit. I have my clementines here that I eat, and apples and stuff like that. So I'm way better than I was. Way better than I was. Mm-hmm. I'm down below 220 for the first time in like.
Oh, great!
It's got to be 10 years. It's
That's like my goal weight is actually, but as a 6'3" gentleman, that's my that's my goal. I'm not doing great. I'm about 40 above that. So
yeah, I need like if I had another 30 off, I'd be excited about myself. If I was down to 180 or something, 180 something, I'd be okay at that point.
Slim Johnson, we'd be calling you.
Slim Johnson.
Wouldn't even recognize you.
It'd be weird, right?
It would be weird.
I'm gonna shave the beard and get down to 170, and then I'm gonna change my name.
Probably about 15 pounds of the beard alone.
I'm gonna change my name and then start comedy over again. I'm just gonna start as an open micer. My name will be Guy Incognito.
Who is this Homer?
Homer? Who is Homer? I am Guy Incognito.
Could be Dutch Bradley. How about that?
Dutch Bradley, that's a good one.
Yeah, right in. Let us know at the DYM podcast. If Shawnee started from day one, slim, non-bearded Sean Donnelly, what his new comedy name would be.
What was my new comedy nickname? Oh, not even nickname. My new comedy name.
No, yeah. Rebrand.
Also, my rebranding. What kind of comic would I be? Would I be like a shock jock comic?
Well, here's the thing. You and me, we obviously have a lot of food jokes, a lot of weight, big guy jokes. Because that's who we are. So you really would have to write a lot of new stuff.
Yeah, I would. You're right. Yeah. Which let's be honest, that'd be great. I haven't written a new joke since 2007, so that'd be great.
Yeah, it would be.
So what I wanted to talk about movie related today was, and you mentioned you watched it as well. I just watched, and here's the thing. I want to explain the background of it. I watched the Coming to America 2. It's Coming to America, number 2 America.
Yeah.
Great old school sequel name. What a great, putting the 2 in the name. Come on. You got to love that.
Not since Look Who's Talking 2 as their pinna.
But what I wanted to say is, I don't know what your feelings before I saw the trailer. My feelings were that it's probably not going to be great. That's what I thought, right? But what made me change my mind wasn't just the trailer. The trailer helped, but also seeing Eddie Murphy on SNL, whenever that was, like last year or a year and a half, whatever it was, made me realize, that's like Eddie Murphy's so good that I don't think he would sign up for something that wasn't at least good for the most part. Like
what? How about a little movie with Daddy Daycare? Oh my God, he's been in garbage.
Yeah, but that's why but look what he did, dude. Look what he did. He fell off the face of the earth for 20 years or whatever it was, 15 years because of those movies. He was getting so much shit for them. So I think
that was more recent than you think.
Daddy Daycare was like, what was that? Maybe that was 10 years ago, maybe. But he hasn't had a movie out in how many years? Like he has. Did they do a sequel?
Yeah. I don't know.
But here's the thing, man. Those don't even count because those are like family movies and they're going to be bad anyway. But when he's doing stuff, then you hear about how good Dolomite was. My Name is Dolomite.
It was great.
He was great on SNL. So I'm like, oh yeah, he's so goddamn funny. And I think he's like reminding people now of how freaking funny he is.
Yeah. So, I'll go watch it. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited for our friend Jermaine.
Our friend is in it. Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the OG cast is in there. They've obviously brought back the barbershop characters.
Which is great. And even that's the greatest thing about that. I was watching the trailer. The barbershop characters are in it. And it's not like when because I guess they're bringing back Wayne and Garth for for like a Super Bowl ad or something. And I saw the picture and I go, it looks like Wayne and Garth melted. It just looked like they melted. Like it's like, guys, stop doing that. Like, stop making these people look like ruining the characters by doing them as your 55-year-old, 60-year-old self. But the barbershop characters, they were already older guys. So now they just look like the actual guys he was trying to beat back in 88.
I thought it was fun. I think it'll be a fun watch. They even updated the story for 2021 to make it very feministy in the regard of, but the princess should be the next in line for the crown of Zamunda.
Look at that,
dude. My God, dude.
Mike just put up a picture of Wayne and Garth from this Super Bowl ad or whatever it is.
Garth doesn't look terrible. Myers looks like a wax figure that was made for what you know, that museum.
Yes, Madame Tussauds Museum.
Madame
Yeah,
Tussauds, yeah.
Madame Tussauds, yeah. And then Garth looks like a Real Housewife of fucking Cincinnati. Like he just has
Aurora.
Aurora. Yeah, Real Housewife of Aurora. He's got like that blonde. It's like I get why they want to do that. There's so much. There's so many people wanting reboots at this point, but it's like
it's just a commercial though.
I think it's just a commercial. Yeah, of course. It's not.
I mean, all those Super Bowl things. All the Super Bowl commercials are always very heavy in nostalgia. So maybe it'll be very self-aware of itself. Like that's always a funny thing when.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Which I wouldn't put it past those two guys to do, but I'm glad those guys are back on maybe talking terms, or maybe they just needed a paycheck because they were famously very contentious on the set of Wayne's World 1 and 2.
Oh, because he stole the Dr. Evil thing. He stole the Lorne Michaels thing, right? Wasn't that it?
No, because that was that. I don't know why.
It was after that, but wasn't that, didn't they have? Why'd they have issues?
I think they just, weren't vibing with each other. Maybe Mike can look it up. I don't really know the reason. I just know that's the story is that they were always like at each other's throats.
Did you ever hear about? Did you ever hear about the Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones thing on the set of Batman Forever?
No.
Tommy Lee Jones hates Jim Carrey. Hates him. So and then because Jim Carrey was on Howard Stern and he said he's convinced because Dumb and Dumber came out the same weekend as Cobb and Dumb and Dumber was like obviously the biggest movie that weekend and Cobb was supposed to be like Tommy Lee Jones's big movie and it fucked over all of his PR for it or something or he believes that whatever it is. But that's what it is. But apparently the night before they had a big scene together while filming Batman Forever, Jim Carrey sees Tommy Lee Jones at a restaurant, walks over to him and goes, "Hey," and he hugs Jim Carrey and he goes, "I don't like you. I hate you. I cannot condone your buffoonery," like whatever it is. So then apparently Jim Carrey was like, the next day he's like, "What's the deal?" And he's like, I can't sanction your buffoonery or whatever it was. So then they just kind of awkwardly walked away, I'm guessing. And then he's like, work the next day was like awful. He's like, it was awful. Like it was like
really.
Yeah. I feel really bad hearing that story. I'm like, Jesus, man. Then
that's
don't
a good
work
topic, though. Very famous on-set movie fights.
On-set feuds, yeah.
Conflict.
Maybe we'll do that next week. We'll try to find out a bunch.
Yeah.
The Mike Myers, Dana Carvey thing was from the Dr. Evil, and he forgave him 2 years ago.
There you go. Told you.
No, I wasn't disputing that. I was just saying I knew on Wayne's World they were mad at each other, but then Dr. Evil would have come after Wayne's World. So I don't know if that timeline adds up.
Because I think that he ripped off the voice before that. So like he did the Lorne Michaels voice. I guess it doesn't match up, but maybe. Are you sure they were really contentious on the set?
I might not be.
Man, I thought maybe it was like a later in life thing, but like
that might be.
It might be.
I know it wasn't like a Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, Caddyshack kind of thing where they were like, "We'll get through this famous scene," but I think like Chevy, they might have gotten into a fist fight.
I'm sure they did, but it might be one of those things where Dana Carvey just didn't like Mike Myers that much, and then they worked together on that and it went fine, and then later on, the whole thing with Dr. Evil happened, and that just brought it to a boil. Like that guy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Let's do an episode of famous
movie conflicts. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know another one that I'll bring up on it. That's a really good one, and that we've talked about the movie a few times too.
Cool.
But I don't want to mention it now because we'll just do a whole episode of that. So that's another thing. Tweet what my new comedy name would be, and also tweet at us at the DYM podcast on Twitter. Tweet your different feuds you know about, and we'll look them up and we'll talk about
feuds.
them. On-set movie feuds because there's tons of them, and you hear these crazy stories. There's Island of Dr. Moreau. That was like a big one. There's so many great.
I'm sure there's a bunch I don't know about, but
Island of Dr. Moreau. We should just do a whole episode dedicated to that.
I've never seen it, dude. I've never seen it.
Watch it and then well, you don't have to watch it. You can just get the idea from like the trailer and then watch
I know what it is.
The documentary based off the making of it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we've heard the stories about Marlon Brando being a prickly pear, but
Yeah.
these actors, they're a touchy bunch, man.
They're very
A lot of emotions, and tempers can be flaring.
Yes, very touchy feeling. These people.
I wanted to also talk about the one thing you brought up with the PG-13 stuff too, because that's a fun one.
Yeah. So back to Coming into America 2. I was like, hey, this looks great. A friend of mine is in it. So I posted online on Facebook and I just write, this is great. This looks great. Whatever I said. This looks great. And my friend, very, very funny comic, Ken Krantz, right away goes, no, it's PG-13. It can't be good. No, it's not good. So, and then I wrote, he goes, it's PG-13. It's unnecessary. And I wrote, you're unnecessary, because that's how I get. That's where I get all my insults from. Just repeating back the word you just said to me. And so then he goes, just admit that PG-13 movies, comedies, are never any good, especially PG-13 Eddie Murphy comedies. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do.
Well, that's ridiculous. Just in it. I mean, there's so many live in the rating of PG-13 that are classics.
Exactly. You don't need an R comedy for it to be good.
That means I will say this about the ratings, and this doesn't really apply to you, but when I see a good horror movie, that trailer that I like, and then I find out it's going to be PG-13, in that sense, I go, how good can it actually be? So in horror films, when it's not a rated R, I go, isn't it going to give me the scares I want? Is it going to give me the blood I want? Yeah, I have to satisfy my bloodlust. In that regard, but comedies, I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So many amazing comedies have been made PG-13. And like I said before we got on, these ratings weren't always the same standard. Like, if you remember back in the early 80s or whatever, that whole decade maybe, you would sometimes catch a tit in a PG-13 movie.
Dude.
So you think a lot more was let go in PG-13.
They absolutely changed them.
Jaws is rated PG. So what does that tell you?
They would.
I mean, that movie's hilarious.
They would also rate things R that looked like they were PG-13 movies. And I think we just mentioned this recently. Revenge of the Nerds looks like it should be a light comedy. Like, just the thing. There is full frontal nudity in Revenge of the Nerds. But because it comes, I think it came from the school of like Porky's and all that. But if you look at the poster for it, it doesn't look. It looks like if it came out now, it would not be what that was. It would be like a way lighter movie.
Of course.
Look at Bad News Bears. Bad News Bears came out in the 70s and was amazing. Was that R? That might have been PG-13.
I'm not sure. I give you some. I know that are PG-13 for a fact. Dumb and Dumber. You're going to say that's not funny?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Happy Gilmore, Tommy Boy, like all
Billy
those
Madison.
Those are all PG-13. So this argument's out the window before it even began.
Yes, so it can be done. It can be done. Ken Krantz, you fucking idiot.
There's so many great PG-13 movies, but I will agree that if in a certain genre, it can change the tone of the movie. Like I said, horror. If I see a horror movie that I think is going to be good, and then I see it PG-13, I go, it's probably not going to be, that great.
Dude, Bad News Bears was PG.
Yeah, dude. In the 70s, PG could.
Mike just wrote that. Bad News Bears is PG, and they say the N-word in it. That shows you how much time has changed. And they have the closing bit is kids drinking beer.
Yeah. Just cracking buds.
Was PG because PG-13 didn't exist yet.
It didn't exist yet. I figured that, but
it has been retroactively made PG-13.
Okay.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God we went back and corrected that mistake.
Won't somebody do something about the children?
We're tearing down Columbus statues and giving Bad News Bears PG-13 ratings. Revisionist history, folks.
Oh, are you a big Columbus guy?
No, I don't give a shit. I just think it's funny. It's like, who cares? Why do you? Is there somebody on the fence about watching the original Bad News Bears that went, well, they changed it now, so I guess it's okay.
Oh, no. But the Columbus statues, I say, yeah, take them down. I don't give a fuck about Columbus.
It was a fine Italian.
It's like a Sopranos episode all of a sudden. But yeah, absolutely. There's tons of great Airheads. Like, how good is Airheads? Airheads is amazing.
This ridiculous.
There's so many good. And so I think his main point was that there's not there's no good Eddie Murphy Peter. I'm like, well, there can be. Why can't there?
Wasn't the original Coming to America? It's not rated R. I don't think.
Yeah, I think it is. Is it?
Is
Can you check, Mike? I think it is. I think it definitely is. But I don't know for sure.
Like a rated R movie.
It could be.
I don't know.
What was Trading Places? Was that R?
That's actually what I was going to ask you now. Oh yeah, Coming to America is R.
Yeah,
that's our Trading Places.
Yeah, because there's boobs.
They seem so tame now.
There's boobs in Coming to America.
Oh yeah,
boobs.
that's right. There's boobs in Trading Places.
And there's boobs in Trading Places.
That's
famous
sweet.
Boobs.
Yeah, that's sweet. Jamie Lee Curtis. Man, she was fucking really built nice. She wasn't the one who was born with 2 parts, was she? Was that always Jamie Lee Curtis, or
that was always the rumor? But I don't think no, it was supposed to be Jamie Lee Curtis, but I think that's all bullshit.
Yeah,
like the Richard Gere gerbil thing.
Right.
Remember that? I remember being a kid and hearing that and going, "Yeah, it's 100% true." I was like, I was just convinced of it for some reason. I was like, and I was horrified by it because when you're a kid, you don't realize the sexual connotation of it. So somebody just told me that, and I was like, "Why would you do that?" Like you're just like, "What are you talking about?" Like,
yeah.
It's like your first experience with something like weirdly sexual like that. Let's be honest. That's no matter what sexuality you are, that's weird. No matter what, that's very weird.
Sure. Oh yeah, you could have told me anything as a kid, and I would have believed you. I was a very gullible child. I definitely believed the Richard Gere one. That's another. We could do a whole other episode on just famous Hollywood taboo stories. That weren't true.
Well,
there's one. The whole. I was going to say the whole midget killing himself in Wizard of Oz. I would have sworn on the Bible that was real.
I was convinced of it, dude. Absolutely. Yeah. I remember
the ghost in 3 Men and a Baby. Forget about it. Yep. I was like, it's a ghost. What is no other explanation?
Well, the one at Wizard of Oz, I remember seeing it. The first time I saw it was on A Current Affair. A Current Affair, the TV show, had a story about that the Wizard of Oz, the midget hung himself in the back in the forest.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh my God. So I grabbed my friends, we rented it, and then we watched it at my house. And I had it so much in my head that was it.
I can picture it.
I got like sick to my stomach. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy.
There's something going on in the background. It's
a bird. It's a bird. You can tell. It's
Mikey,
one of the
can you pull that up?
It's one of the birds they have on set. It's playing with its beak. So it's its beak going up, down, and then it's swinging its beak back and forth. And then it goes one way, and then it doesn't come back the other. That's how you know the guy's not swinging.
I remember him swinging.
Where he swings for a second, it looks like somebody's swinging, but then at one point it stops moving its beak, and you don't see him come back fully the other way.
And what was it was a card in 3 Men and a Baby. It was a
cardboard cutout of Ted Danson.
Joe Biden or somebody.
Yeah, Joe Biden. Yeah, of Ted Danson, and he's a movie star in the thing. He's an actor in the thing. So it's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be from his room, like he has all his cardboard cutouts there.
Did I ever tell you this? One time, we had in 4th and 5th grade, I had the same teacher, Miss Doyle, who now runs a mortuary in my hometown. She left teaching to become a mortician, and she was cool though because she was like a younger teacher when we were kids on the younger side. And so we started talking about this in class one day, and she said, somebody bring in these movies, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We brought in these 2 movies. I brought in 3 Men and a Baby on VHS. And we spent a whole class talking about these legends. So here's
Wizard of Oz.
Hanging himself.
We're watching Wizard of Oz now. So now they're walking, they're going Yellow Brick Road. In the background, it looks like there's a body.
Yeah.
And you see it's swinging back and forth, but it's not that. If you look earlier in the scene, because which I don't think.
Yeah, I remember you seeing somebody climb up a thing and then drop down and then swing back and forth. This one's I've never seen that one before.
And the folklore was that it was one of the little people from the set that played the Munchkins, the Munchkins, and. He found out he got fired that day for some reason, so he went back to the back of the set and he killed himself. And I saw it on Current Affair with Maury Povich in 1991 or something.
So, this is a good segue into our kind of what we watched this week, because in bizarre occurrences, I watched Long Shot, which is the actual documentary about how a man gets arrested for murder in real life. And because of the footage that was able to be provided by Curb Your Enthusiasm, this guy got off of a murder charge because they were able to find him with his daughter at the game, and the timestamps and the time codes of all their footage put it free. It makes he's an innocent man. This guy was wrongfully arrested. It's a great, interesting story, and all of a sudden you got Larry David going on there going, yeah, we helped the guy out. We were happy to oblige. You know,
who did they think he murdered? Who was the victim?
So here's the crazy part about it. The guy who they arrested has a connection to the victim. The victim was a 19-year-old girl who testified in a trial about a gang, right? And this guy's brother is connected to this gang. His brother's a criminal, and it's downtown Los Angeles, and so the prosecutors were able to prove that he had already met this girl when his brother was on trial, and she testified against crimes that he was involved in. So they were like, he's got motive. And the guy, not for nothing, he's a Mexican guy in LA. He's a short guy. He has this mustache. He looks like the description a witness gave the cops. So they're like, not only does this guy look like the witness, this guy looks like the witness description, he's got motive too to help his brother. So they're like, this is our guy. And it was only through all these crazy circumstantial things where he goes, hey, wait a second. I was at the fucking Dodgers game that day. And they go, well, who are you there with? I was there with my 5-year-old daughter. Well, who can back this up? He goes, well, I guess my mom can. They go, yeah, of course your mom's going to back it up. So his lawyer starts going to the LA Dodgers legal counsel. They go, can you just please send me any crowd shots that you have from that game? So he's combing through hours of this footage. And then the guy realized, he goes, hey, wait a second. They were also filming something that day that I walked into, and they were right near us. And it was the Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's crazy, dude.
Oh my
And they were
God.
able to find him 5 separate times in all the Curb footage. And the Curb footage is all timestamped because that's how they do it.
Yeah.
And this guy, they let him off scot-free.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy. And it's a quick 45-minute, I think it was a 30 for 30 something. But it's a fun one. It's got some Larry David in there, and it's just a cool story because this guy is such a sweet guy. And that's why his lawyer was like, I just knew there was no way this guy was a murderer, And so
he just owes that guy his fucking life.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a very sweet moment at the end when they're when they leave. It was a real cool story.
I'm gonna watch it. But you also said before we got started that you watched a limited series, and I'm wondering if it's the same one I watched. Was it on Netflix? That's what I want to ask you.
It was on Netflix.
Was it the Richard Ramirez Night Stalker one?
Richard Ramirez Night Stalker one. I watched all 4 in a row.
So did
I started them at 12:30 a.m. last night. I was up till fucking 3:30 in the morning because I couldn't turn it off, dude.
Yeah, it's great. It's good. And they make the cops that broke the case so dramatic. They're so dramatic.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
It was good though, man. I enjoyed it. I watched it 4 straight through, dude.
I didn't know about the sneaker thing that they almost had him on.
Me neither.
They identified him from this one Avia. I forgot Avia was a brand.
I forgot about that. There was 3 things where they almost had him. They had him one at the car. He had and he ran off.
Yeah.
And then how crazy did you go with the dentist office where they go, we had these whole guys, undercover cops in the dentist office for fucking 3 months. And then the LAPD gets involved. They go, hey, man, this is costing us a shitload. Let's just install an alarm where if he comes in, the secretary will press a button and that'll alert the cops. And they go, literally the day after we pulled our guys, he comes in and they go, well, the dentist goes, where were you? You guys didn't show up. We were hitting the button all day. Of course, the button malfunctions. He gets away. I screamed at the top of my lungs. I was like, are you fucking kidding
me? Yeah. And also when they actually did catch him, it was the San Francisco cops that did it through their contact.
Yeah.
So those 2 main guys in the show, they're good cops. The other guy caught the hillside strangler and all that kind of stuff. But you're watching well, you had a lot of help, dude. You had a lot of help, and you guys, you kind of fumbled it. But the main guy is that guy Gil, And he's like a good character to have in one of these because he like it's almost like reminds me like Fargo, where like he's like representing good, and then Richard Ramirez is evil.
Yeah,
like, it's like that,
dude. I like a serial killer just as much as the next one. I appreciate the lore behind serial killers. I'm always curious about those individuals, and I just had kind of forgotten about Night Stalker Richard Ramirez because he's, I guess, now going to be one of the more popular. He's not in like the Ted Bundys, the John Wayne Gacy's. He's not like a household name of serial killers, I should say.
No, but he should be though. Like he killed a lot of people.
Psychopath, dude.
Yeah, psychopath. But I'm watching him in court, and I go, he is very fashionable though. This guy looks great.
Yeah, he has a hell of a cheekbone there, bro.
Hell of a cheekbone. He's like a model. This freaking guy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's a killer. He's got killer eyes. I'll tell you right now, he's got killer. His eyes are killing me.
Killer abs. That's what he's.
Killer outfit on this guy. He is, but I'm watching it going, yeah, this guy goes, because it's all back in the 80s, that all these clothes that would be like really fashionable now. So you're watching,
He's
like
the members only.
No, it's like, I'm like, how did he have the time while killing a bunch of
DC hat?
How did he have the time while killing a bunch of people to be at the forefront of fashion? Like,
well, I think he wore the same exact outfit every single time, which is why.
I'm kidding.
He
was just wearing.
That was so crazy.
He was wearing regular clothes from the 80s, and that's just now it's fashionable. So if you watch old tapes, you're like, man, this guy is cool. He's like a hipster. He's cool.
Yeah, but that was kind of the other thing that why they took him so long. There was no rhyme or reason to any. There was no patterns. He was just like. Sometimes he'd kill an old couple, and then other times he'd molest a 5-year-old, and other times he'd kill a teenage girl. Like he was just like a sick person. There's not like a targeted demographic, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, Satan worshiper, and I think the whole idea was just spreading evil. Because even he had one. There was one case with a girl that he attacked sexually, and she said he looked like he wanted to let me go, but he had to do what he was doing to me. And I'm like, yeah, he was like possessed in a way. Like he just had some, he was not possessed.
How creepy was that when they first like show his face and it's just like, those dead eyes. I was sitting there. It was like 2:30 in the morning. I'm sitting there alone. I'm going, ooh, I get the shivers. Spooky.
Yeah, it's creepy. It's super creepy. It's super creepy. He was like, I'm glad the guy's
spooky and Chinese.
And he got away with it. He was in jail for like 20 years, and then he died of cancer.
Yeah. They were. It's funny. All the cops were kind of bummed, and they were like, yeah, he kind of just got off. He was on death row. He should have been killed, but he, the appeal system being what it is, he, spent like 20 years in jail and then died. You're like, I do want to see a guy die like that. He should get his comeuppance,
Yeah, and because what they tell you after he was caught and all the trials happened, he didn't seem that broken up that he was going to spend his rest of his life in jail or be on. Like he knew all that. He knew all that shit was going to happen. Like
right.
He even asked one of the cops. Remember at the end when they're bringing him back to the cell, or they're visiting him at the cell or something, and he goes, "Hey, Gil, you're going to come to my execution?"
Yeah. He's like, I'll see you there, bud. Say hi to the family.
Which is like the ultimate in social obligation. Is like, are you going to come to my execution? Why not? I sent you the invite. Can you please just come to my execution? It's the last thing I'll ask you to do.
Gene, I haven't seen an RSVP yet. You're not. It's literally your last chance. We're gonna hang.
You have an evite for your execution, and you're seeing who's checking it and who's not.
The best I can give you is a maybe right now.
I'm not sure what we're doing that day. I know execution only happens once in a person's life, but we might have to go out of town. We're not sure what's happening.
Man, what a sick. He's gonna be up there now. I think he's going to be a household name like Bundy and Gacy. We have had a lot of these docs lately. There's that whole Ted Bundy one. It's so crazy how these chicks love these guys, man. There was all these. Ted Bundy was easy on the eyes as well.
Yeah. Girls love hot murderers.
Yeah. DYM, defend your murderer.
The book shouldn't be the game. It should be like how to get away with murder should be the dating.
So I moving on. I watched all real life stuff this week. I watched the Tiger documentary as well, and this guy got killed in the media. I'll tell you that much for free. Holy shit, this thing was a hit piece, Shawnee.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah, the Tiger. It's just called Tiger on HBO Max, whatever you have. It's this guy's dad was a real kind of piece of shit too, and Tiger just kind of one of those things where you're like, I just want to be my dad. I want my dad to be proud of me. His dad was like a philanderer and just this crazy military guy. And then Tiger starts living up to the hype with, I don't know. I mean, we all know the Tiger Woods story. I don't have to go over it again, but like, it was crazy to see how he was manufactured as a child. Like his dad just at one point decided, my son is going to be a golf prodigy, and that's his life. And I've decided, and that's everything he's going to do.
So sad, right?
There's one point where he goes, if Tiger had shown the proclivity toward bowling, let's say, we would have supported him in bowling. You're just going, dude, you're lying to everybody face to face. That's a bald face lie right there. The guy can barely keep a straight face when he's saying it. But apparently he was a big womanizer too. And then we might see where that Tiger gets that gene from. So.
He's emulating his dad. Why do you think I'm overweight with a beard? Because I want to be like my dad.
Absolutely.
No, but but it's really sad because you're like, oh yeah, you're shaping somebody's personality at that point too. So he's watching that, and even though he's being, just his dad is being a shitty father. Tiger doesn't know that. You're not going to tell somebody if they have tunnel vision and they're seeing this guy as the end all be all. You're going to end up emulating everything the guy does.
Yeah. I'll tell you this though, man, you do forget how fucking great Tiger was when he stormed out. In 97, he was 20 years old and won the Masters, and it was like by a lot as a team. Like, oh geez. And then just like, he won the 4 majors in a row, never been done before in 1 year. And then it did kind of end on a cool, he came back after all that, after major back surgery and knee surgery. He came back and won the 2019 Masters. And you're like, it did end on a note where you're like, you could see him having fun for the first time ever on the golf course. Like before his whole life changed with all the scandal stuff, he was just a warrior and wouldn't even talk to the guys he was playing golf with. Now you see him like joking around and having fun. You're like, I think this guy's maybe having fun for the first time in his life because it's just, he's been through hell and back. So, hopefully, listen, I believe in second chances, Shawnee. So hopefully you live and learn and grow and,
the things we do for a father's love, Andy. See what happens there? That's crazy. But is it because is his dad gone now? Is that maybe that's part of it?
His dad died in like 2006 or 7 or 8 or something. So,
maybe that's it. Maybe it took him a while to realize it. That plus therapy plus being harangued in the media with all that stuff.
Yeah. And then I got one more for you, but I don't know if you have something else.
I have one more, but is this another documentary one?
It's in and of itself. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's kind of magic.
Oh, I haven't watched this yet.
Very unique, man. I don't know what to make of it.
All right, you know what? Let's not talk. I want to watch it, and then can we talk about it next week? Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. And then we'll just go to the thing that I rewatched something because I haven't seen it in years. And I'm wondering when the last time you saw it was. And I'll tell you, first off, it holds up, and it makes me wonder something about the director. I watched Misery again for the first time, probably in 25 years, maybe something like that.
I've seen it recently.
You have seen it recently, and what do you think?
It's a little dated, but it's still.
I don't see it being dated. The only thing, what do you mean? Because of the typewriter and the thing, but it's like
no, I mean just like maybe more the vibe, but.
The thing to me, I wonder is like who was helping out Rob Reiner to make this movie look so much like a Hitchcock movie? Like he never did anything like that again.
That's Rob Reiner's thing. He fucking bites from other directors. He's either Woody Allen or he's Hitchcock. He's not. I don't think he's that great director everybody makes him out to be.
No, I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying like, but if he did such a great job with this, I'm like nothing else he ever did was like this.
Yeah, I as far as like, horror movie Stephen King movies go, I don't think it's that scary. I think it's okay. I think it's a fine film, but it's nothing crazy. It's not one of my favorites.
Well, I think it's one of these thrillers that came up with a lot of tropes and a lot
film
of
noirish. I don't know.
But a lot of comedy came out of it after it. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like dissolves it a little bit, kind of like, it waters it down when that happens, when you have like tons of sketches and there's tons of SNL stuff about it. And for years, it just kind of things become a punchline about it,
To me, he's one of the most overrated directors, I think.
I'm not saying
All time.
he's a fantastic director, but this particular movie is directed amazingly. Like it's really a great shot movie, and it's edited very well also.
I'll have to watch it again and keep that in mind because I don't remember watching it and seeing those things.
You know what? Okay, so I don't know if this will make sense me saying this, but it's a very clean movie. The shots are very clean. Everything's very clean. Like you're getting the point of everything. It's all contained in one location pretty much, and you get you're getting the points of all the shots. It's not like this mishmash of I might have missed this or missed that. Like you're picking up everything that's supposed to be thrown down. But
I give he's a better actor than a director in my opinion. I mean, Meathead over fucking Princess Bride any day of the week.
I think he's a great actor, but I'm telling you, I think you're just like not you're kind of poo-pooing on this movie because it's him, but it just be the best thing that he did. It's probably the best thing that he did.
Ooh, all right. Well, no, we'll Stand By Me. Spinal Tap, Princess Bride. You know my thoughts on feelings on that one. So
I just rewatched that recently too, Princess Bride.
I'll take Stand By Me. Oh, A Few Good Men. What of A Few Good Men?
Andy, I had a Rob Reiner-a-thon. I had a Rob Reiner Rob Reiner movie marathon. Just me, some popcorn, and my jammies.
We didn't even mention Harry Met Sally. You know,
I know. Well, when Harry Met Sally is great, but it's still a romantic comedy. It's not.
I still think Stand By Me is probably my favorite out of those ones.
I forgot that he did Stand By Me. Stand By Me still is best, but Misery is really, really good, and it's
all right,
entertaining. And I really don't like your lack of enthusiasm with my assessment of the film.
You know what it is? Maybe it's because I had a moment when we went to Ben Murphy, his birthday party with his mom when we were kids. Whenever that came out, what is that? 90? I want to say.
Yeah, it came out 90. Yeah.
We had a birthday party for Ben. He's been mentioned on this podcast before as the one who has taken my nudie calendar and never gave it back. He blackmailed me, if you remember that story. So we were at, for some reason, I guess I forgave him for that whole fiasco. And we went, how your mom would take you and a bunch of friends for your birthday. You'd go to the movies and, it would be a little birthday party for you and your friends. I remember sneaking out of whatever movie we were watching. I wish I knew what it was. And sneaking into Misery to go watch it. As you would do, you'd buy a ticket for a PG-13 movie when you were a kid, and then you try and sneak into rated R movies. This is one of the great adventures of my entire life, was trying to sneak into rated R movies.
And movie hopping is fantastic.
It's the best. And so I remember going and sneaking into Misery. But here's my dilemma, is that I'm with a group of people and an adult. So I could only stay in there for so long. I couldn't disappear for an hour and a half and then come back whistling Dixie and just being like, so a good movie, huh? You know what I mean? We're all sitting in the same row together.
Yeah,
so I watched Misery for like 15 minutes, and then I had to go back to whatever movie theater I was originally in. And afterwards, Ben was like, my mom knew you snuck into Misery. I was so scared that she was going to tell my parents. I was like, please don't tell.
This kid Ben's a real worm.
A real weasel, I have to say.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's what put a bad taste in your mouth about Misery, because
maybe that's what it was.
Parent, you're worried your mom will yell at you if you watch it again.
Dana Murphy, very cool shout. She did not tell, so that was a cool.
She not tell. Okay, yeah. The end of that story was cool, mom.
How shitty is this though? When I was maybe 14 or 15, still a little young to be purchasing rated R movie tickets for myself, I went and saw something. I went to our local theater. And I saw one of my older sister's friends there. And I went, hey, can you buy us tickets for whatever? I was like, this is fucking sweet. I'm telling all my friends, I go, give me all your money. There's my sister's friend, Caroline. She'll buy us tickets, no problem. And she fucking wouldn't. She was like, I don't want to get in trouble by your mom. I'm like, I'm not going to tell. Who the fuck's going to tell? I'd be in trouble just as much as you would. I go, what a fucking dweeb you are. You won't buy us tickets to a rated R movie? Come on, are you kidding me?
So she wouldn't. Have you ever brought it up to her later in life?
I don't think I've ever seen her again since then.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, no, I feel like, but that's also a thing where You're thinking she's so much older, and what was she? She was 17, I guess.
No,
and
no, my older sister, she's a half sister, like 15 years older than me. So she was probably like 30. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Who cares at that point? Yeah.
Just come on, dude. Just be cool.
The movie theater will get mad at me. Like maybe it's just the movie. They won't let me watch movies here anymore.
I remember. Yeah, she was a babysitter for me, and not a great babysitter. She would put on. I remember. I had Fushnikins, the cassette single, and I remember playing it for her, and she was like, "Turn that off. I want to watch this movie." And I was like, "Oh, cool. You brought a movie for us to watch." And it was Reversal of Fortune. I was like.
Can you imagine a worse moment?
This is a bad babysitting movie.
Can you imagine a worse moment as a kid? We're like, oh, awesome. You brought a movie?
Totally. I was like, what'd you get?
Reversal of Fortune.
What is it? Goonies? Ferris Bueller? No, it's Reversal of Fortune. Like, I guess I'll just go to bed now. I'll take my Fushnikins and
it's 3 in the afternoon. Yeah, you're telling it. You're like, you know what? You're not a true Fushnik.
You are not a true Fushnik. Yeah, so she was just a fucking drip. Wouldn't buy me rated R movies. Fucking poor choice of babysitting movies.
Just awful people, just evil people from our childhood.
Because that is an art. If you're a babysitter trying to entertain the kids and yourself at the same time, you got to have good taste in movies, something that'll get the whole gang involved, you know?
Yeah, you got to do something that gets you a rep in the neighborhood as a good babysitter.
Right.
Because the only, there was no Yelp back then. You got to, the only word of mouth you had was if the kids have a good time, and then you go, bring her back. We got to bring her back. It's like, you can't be watching whatever you want willy-nilly, like some kind of asshole,
Beat it, Caroline. Why don't you go babysit Ben Murphy? You two seem like you'd get along. Fucking jerks.
Well, I enjoyed Misery, even though you have a traumatic childhood experience based off of it.
I
But
wouldn't say traumatic. It's
not traumatic. I was exaggerating, but I
enjoy it. I enjoy the movie.
And you just mentioned a bunch of movies that are good movies that he made that, like, you could say he has his own style on certain things. Like, what would you call Stand By Me? Stand By Me is like
it has a soft spot in my heart, but I wouldn't say it's the most original story. You know what I mean? It's another Stephen King, actually, story, to be honest. Now that we think about it.
It is another Stephen King story.
Short story.
I don't know. It's pretty original. You know what it is? You know what Stand By Me? It was a movie for kids that freaked out kids. Like,
right,
I remember,
right.
It freaked me out. Like it did its job.
Oh yeah, Dead Body, sure. Old Harlow Road.
And the way
I was scared of Keith Southern too, and then the whole dead brother thing. It had its moments.
It has moments. I think you're selling Bobby Reiner a little short over there.
Sorry, Robert.
Let us know what you think, you guys. Like I said before, we have a
defend your meathead.
Defend your meathead. Meathead, huh? Defend your meathead. We have an Instagram and we have a Twitter. They're both at the DYM podcast on both of those platforms. Please let us know what you think about the show. Guys, this is really important. We say it each week. You need to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Tell your friends to review it. Tell them, like, if they're not doing anything, we know you have free time. It's
home. It's a snowstorm.
You're not doing anything. It's 5 feet of snow outside if you're on the East Coast. So come on, do us a favor. Review the podcast. Get us up there in the numbers with the podcast. We talked about a plethora of topics today.
Yeah.
A plethora. So guys, please do that. And on top of that, Andrew Fiori, he has his own Twitter and his own Instagram. It's at Andy Fiori. Make sure you sign up for that. And he has his own radio show every Thursday at 4 p.m. on Raw Dog 99 on Sirius. It's called The Raw Report. Is that correct?
Sign up for Sirius.
Sign up for Sirius. You can listen to both of our shows. You can hear my show. It's called Celebrate on Wednesdays at 4 on the same channel. And then also you can check out I'm at Shawnee Time on both platforms. So, but we want to thank you guys so much for listening. We want to thank, who else we want to thank, Andy?
Mushy Mike Suarez,
Mushy Mike Suarez for being amazing, and he's our pal, and he makes the show. And thank you to the laugh button for having.
I'll get a girlfriend one of these days.
I made a mistake earlier. It wasn't retroactively the Bad News Bears. That was the remake. That was PG-13.
Oh, see, so they kept it
Ooh.
PG. Oh, thank God, because Andy couldn't take. He doesn't take. Nothing for old man Andy to get mad about when you go. It's cancel culture.
Don't tread on me. Good.
Oh, see, to be honest, that actually makes me feel better. They kept it PG. It really does.
It
make
does.
me feel better.
Because you know why? That was sometimes a thing where you'd go, Ma, look, PG, and then you knew you got away with something. You know?
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. Like, you gotta give some something.
I support little kids getting away with anything.
Yeah, give something to the kids. Give us a little nudity. Give us some curses, and we're happy.
Let them watch Night Stalker. Nobody.
If you learn nothing from this podcast, let your kids watch the Night Stalker limited series on Netflix. Just give them that favor.
And I had no supervision too. I was able to watch anything. Like my parents left me in front of the TV, and then they weren't checking up. You know,
yeah,
I could turn anything on. I
barely had any either. My dad would take me to like Lethal Weapon 2 when I was 12, and there was boobs in that. I saw Patsy.
Yeah.
That extensively. I saw
my mom let me rent The Doors when it was, on video.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that too. Yeah.
There's just tits all over the place.
There was just no movie supervision, But guys, we can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back next week. We're gonna talk about more of the. We pressed on it during this episode. We're gonna talk about on-set movie feuds, which will be really freaking fun.
Nice.
And please tune in for that. And thank you again. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.